Hey YouTube, today we are watching UK Roadmen Culture. This video I just randomly found, it looks super interesting, and yeah, we're gonna give it a watch. We're joined here by Twitch chat, which you can see under my camera. Boom shakalaka. Let's get started.
In the last 15 years or so.
Don't
In the
me, I
form
tried,
of grey
okay?
tracksuits, swords and ballets. This is roadman culture. Every country seems to have manufactured its own
I saw a thing that, you know, they sell a Nike Tech fleece every 15 minutes, apparently.
very specific type of person that simultaneously becomes a social problem and a national joke all at the same time. America has frat boys, Australia has those eshés, and France, well, France has bellends. Britain, however, created something far more fascinating. We created the roadman, a species of human that has somehow become so embedded into everyday life that most of us don't even notice it anymore. And there's even a good chance you've already adopted some of their behavior without realizing it.
So I said to him, "Get in the fucking kitchen
Oh,
now,
I remember that
fam."
woman.
For example, you've got a younger cousin from Nottingham that says fam in every third sentence, or a mate from work who says safe when he's leaving the office. Somehow even your own
My little brother started saying sound, which just is wrong in every way.
mother has started
Why
saying that she's got a motive at the weekend. Linda, it's book club. At some point over the last 15 years, roadman culture stopped being confined to certain parts of London and quietly seeped
I don't know if these are roadmen culture, but what are the guys who wear like their trousers way too low, where you can see like you can now buy trousers that are like boxers at the top, and then they're just it makes no sense. Like why have your trousers that low?
into
I don't
every
get it.
corner of Britain. And if you're not from the UK, trying to explain what a roadman actually is can be surprisingly difficult because they don't really fit into one category. They're not exactly a fashion movement, they're not entirely a subculture, and they're certainly not a collective gang, despite what some headlines would have you believe. They're a strange mixture of all of those things at once. Roadmen have become one of Britain's most recognisable social phenomena, and the truth is, it's far more complicated than you think. And to understand where roadmen came from, we actually need to travel back to an era that many British people have tried extremely hard to erase from their noggin. The age of the chav. If you grew up within Britain in the early 2000s, you'll remember it vividly.
It's old, ain't it? So it's time to f***ing look for a job and that.
You had the white tracksuits and the Burberry caps that became a lower class crowd of sorts. Phone speakers.
I saw a guy today. I saw a guy who was in all roadman attire, but he'd leveled it up. He had Balenciaga shoes on. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wear Balenciaga shoes. I was like, wow, roadman plus.
Permanently blasting.
Also, I don't know how roadmen are infecting where I live. I live in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Bass Hunter at a volume that we would have appreciated if it wasn't midday on a high street. Chavs dominated the landscape for years. Every town centre had them, every bus route had them, and every shopping centre had at least one group sitting on a bench, looking deeply offended that you happened to walk past their personal space. The British character Devo encapsulated this perfectly.
Not too fast, like dickhead. That's f***ing too fast, dickhead.
Then something began to change. As Britain entered the late 2000s and early 2010s, chav culture slowly started disappearing. The Burberry caps vanished, and London began creating something entirely new. The roadman quickly emerged, and unlike the chav, its existence mostly centered around being an unknown delinquent. Day in the life, let's see if you're really a twat. London in particular became the birthplace of this culture, especially within poorer boroughs where young people often grew up with fewer opportunities and with this strong desire to establish themselves within their communities. Suddenly, fashion, music, and reputation all became interconnected. Being a roadman wasn't just about how you dressed. It became a way of presenting yourself to people who didn't actually give a fuck. Now, this is where we have to get somewhat serious for a moment, because despite how much we love taking the piss out of roadmen, it's important to understand why roadman culture developed in the first place. For a lot of young men, this wasn't something they randomly woke up and chose one morning. I mean, some definitely did.
Facts, I'm there.
Many grew up in deprived neighborhoods, around poverty, exposed to violence, and usually just came from broken homes. Most lacked strong male role models and found themselves searching for identity elsewhere. Roadman culture offered exactly that. It offered a sense of community status, alongside respect and somewhat protection, I guess. Suddenly you weren't just another teenager trying to figure out life anymore. You were a part of something.
That makes sense, but how are you not self-aware that you look like that? Like, how are you not How are you not aware that you look stupid? Like, people make fun of you. Like, I guess you don't care because you only want to impress these guys.
bigger
don't
than
know.
yourself. And that desire to belong, no matter what your upbringing is something
What the fuck is the quality of that picture? Holy shit.
that everybody can relate to,
Why
even
does
if the
Big
end
Ben
result
look like that?
happens to have you acting and looking like a sausage. But of course, once social media got involved, everything became considerably more ridiculous. What started
They
in
do
London
TikTok
slowly
trends.
spread throughout the rest of Britain until roadmen somehow started appearing in places that absolutely should not have roadmen. You'll hear somebody from bloody Harrogate claiming that they're from the ends, despite their nearest threat being a goose on heat. There are most likely teenagers from the Cotswolds talking about surviving life on the road, when their daily commute involves walking past a fucking garden centre. Britain essentially exported London culture, and nobody really questioned it.
You get girls, I lie.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, fuck. When you hear like a little child talk like this shit, it's like, what are you doing? Oh.
What about you?
Getting back shots, isn't it?
Oh. Oh, that's another topic we should talk about. Like the amount children know at their age. Like my little brother says the craziest shit ever, and he is 12. Like at 12, I was completely cut off from the internet. I had a little FreeSat TV, and wouldn't swear I didn't know anything. And my brother's out here talking about my brother the other day came up to me and was like, can you say roof, roof, roof? And I was fucking exhausted, so I went, roof, 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 and he went, good boy, and I just want to,
Getting back shots, isn't it?
I beg your pardon, young man. Everybody simply accepted that this was just normality now. And why the fuck would we question it? London isn't the only place struggling with poverty and crime. This way of expressing yourself
No,
is
it's so
fucking
bad.
hilarious, don't get me wrong. But it unifies people. So it makes complete sense why other poor
I was out with my brother once and I looked at a girl and he went, Elliot wants to tap that. Like, brother, what the fuck?
areas throughout Britain adopted it.
I'm back out here in Colchester and I found this wannabe
Hey, Ray.
roadman.
Nah, fam, what do you mean wannabe
Bro, it's just a
roadman,
video,
Don't
bro.
know why this man's taking the piss, you know. I agree with him still. Like, Colchester's like Ballymorey out here, fam. A roadman at its core is an urban subculture that's heavily connected to London, deeply linked to things like grime, drill, and gang life. They exist in this endless state of hovering around public spaces like McDonald's, estates, bus stops, parks, train stations, and just random street corners. Suddenly, these places became gathering points for groups of identical-looking people who all
Hey,
appear
Ty.
to have absolutely nowhere else to be. Yet these are the
I'm not gonna lie, if I saw a group of these people, I'm shitting myself.
same people
I'm
who
putting
moan
my
about
head down
having
and
no
walking away.
opportunities in life. Go out there and grab the fucking bag, not a bag of plants, you dick. You could pull into a McDonald's at 8:30 in the evening because you fancy 20 nuggets and a McFlurry.
The clothes are cozy, they look fucking shit. And the fact that they're like hundreds of pounds is wild to me. Like, you can't look at those clothes and be like, yeah, I want to look like that. I don't get it.
Only to discover that you've accidentally entered Assassin's Creed 2.
I don't know what any of this nonsense is, but this is when your name comes.
Groups of the mundane Moncler
No, we can't give
mafia
them
have
guns.
gathered like self-service stations
Oh my
of
God.
drillings. You can have one person waffling loudly on a FaceTime call. Somebody else is discussing their latest dippings. 6 people standing around a singular electric bike with this aroma of ganj and dodgy Turkish bog polish. Tell you what though, they must be a bit thirsty. And this is where our lunatic mates over at Holy
Oh,
come
good
in.
ad.
Because they've only
Not
gone and
ad.
done it again.
What even is holy?
While now, so please go check them out. Right, back to it. And then you have the roadman dialect,
I need him to do a video on Turkish barbers because they're just a plague.
which might be genuinely one of Britain's greatest accidental inventions.
What's going on with that gentleman over there's behaviour? It's extremely unacceptable.
A lot of people in Britain decided that the English language had too many unnecessary words and simply condensed an already confusing language into this.
Brother, allow them prices there, fam. You think you're tough on all of them things there, brother? Can't come to them prices with...
Whoa, those prices are really expensive. I feel rather disrespected respected that you come to me with those prices because they just seem very extortionate. It's an incredible blend of traditional Cockney slang, Jamaican patois, have I said that correctly? Am I too white? Probably. And countless influences from London's multicultural communities. The result is this entirely recognisable way of speaking that is now somehow spread.
I remember once I walked past the roadman in like year 8 and he shouted that he was going to R-word me. And I just thought that's a bit gay of you. Oh my God, what? I had someone shout, "I'm going to knife you." And obviously it didn't because I'm still here, but it's just weird. It's like, do you want me to fear you? I don't really. Is it just a power complex? Because if it is, that's fucking kinky, dude, you know? There's other avenues you can go down than hurting me.
Throughout the country.
Wagwan Akis, shout out
That's not real. That can't be real. Fuck off.
to my plug.
Even if you've never visited London in your life,
That
you'd
can't be
instantly
fucking real.
recognise it if someone started speaking like it. And you even had, like, Toronto attempting their own version of this
What?
because they seem to think our historical ties is something that they can continue to replicate in the current day.
Man, them are weird. There's bear bucksies there.
Oh,
Who's
no.
my word, broski? Somebody go smoke that, you. Yo, you're sick to my stomach, fam.
Piss off, mate, yeah? But the dialect is something we'll
Zaza, do you not... Is that not your ends, man?
get into later because the most important aspect of being on boot
Zaza, this is what you're doing in your daily life.
is the uniform itself. Somehow thousands of people independently arrived at the same outfit. The North Face, the fake Canada Goose, the Montclair, it all became mandatory. Tech fleeces and grey
Is that the
tracksuits,
Queen?
the MX-97s, the Hirachis, the man bags, they all became absolutely essential. The puffer jacket being the biggest one in particular. I feel like it deserves its own investigation because roadmen wear them no matter what the weather. It could be 20
Oh my God, the fucking North Face jackets, man. Oh, they're so boring. Why do like 90% of people my age have the exact same jacket in a different color?
8 degrees in July, and the puffer jacket would still be held tight. Britain could experience its hottest recorded temperature, and you'd still see somebody walking around dressed like they're about to summit Ben Nevis and then just shank a goat when they get to the top.
You have
Meanwhile,
one, of course you
everybody
do.
else is desperately trying not to melt into the pavement. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the story of the woman whose skin just fused with her couch. But
What?
the difference there is that she didn't have a choice, bless her. Is it just something that you simply cannot remove? Nobody has successfully answered that question. Perhaps it's just sheer commitment. Maybe it's just so the mandem don't assume that he's lacking. I suppose that's why we got the tech fleet.
Are there roadmen YouTubers? Like, if I was a roadman, would I watch roadmen YouTubers? Is there like a whole roadmen society I'm unaware of? That'd be really interesting. Like how to look more. I'm too white. I'm too white to be trying to use their slang. I'm not gonna
To cool them down
I went to attempt that in my head and was like, no.
a
No.
little bit. For some in the summer, they go from the char-grilled Michelin man to a Power Ranger who lacks confidence in his own body. You know this symbol here in the middle of the jacket? It has various meanings. One of the biggest being spiritual awareness. Ironic because you're not aware that you look like a complete and utter pillock. Then we have the side pouch, the man bag, where they store their little toys.
The Canada Goose jacket things are so ugly. That hood is fucking awful. I know that jacket's probably not real, but even so.
Filled with a 3.5, some black raws, and a note so someone can contact their mummy if it gets stolen. The roadmen guard that pouch like they're transporting what dignity they have left. You've got this OG fella from the UK social media community called Josh Tate, otherwise known as Little T. A perfect example, really, of a person
Oh, that's
who's
a
from
throwback
an
and a
area
half.
that isn't London. He's from bloody a seaside town called Blackpool that's just very poor now because no one wants to fucking go to Blackpool. I follow him on Instagram, right? And you would genuinely struggle to find a post on his page where he's not showing his Gucci man bag. The bag becomes part of the identity. And the accessories are more than just a man bag. You've got the balaclava being used more in recent years as a way.
I don't know. I've never looked at a Gucci product and been like, holy shit, I need to save up and buy that. I just think it all looks tacky and shit. You know? I can't think of a big fashion brand where I've been like, holy shit, that looks awesome. Maybe I'm too broke to get it, but...
Of enforcing free speech and showing how much of a fucking nutcase they are. And here's where I get confused because
Gucci, Balenciaga, They're all hideous.
Assumed it actually made you less of a pussy if you showed your face. But these lads clearly know something that I don't. I can't lie, it's to avoid crime, bro.
The only people who wear Balenciaga are people who want you to know that they can afford Balenciaga and just don't shut up that they bought Balenciaga, and that's why they wear it all the time.
Bruv, no face, no case, I lie. Oh, sorry, little man, did you sell some plants on the road? You got a big old sword in your pocket, haven't you, you little medieval munter? You can have a life-size game of Kaplunk, are ya?
Oh my god, Kaplunk! I forgot. Oh, Kaplunk. Oh my god, Kaplunk is such a throwback. Kaplunk is the best. Kaplunk is actually the best board game of all time. Is it even a board game?
You've got the night gloves that match the attire perfectly. What are they used for? Well, they're used to avoid fingerprints on the bladed article, fam. You can't really say the glove doesn't fit in this case because their mummy was there when they tried them on. The attire is all over the place, really. But
Kaplunk stream when? I'd one gifted sub equals one. That's so greedy. One gifted sub equals pulling out, what is it, like a stick of the Kaplunk. Also though, Sports Direct is probably the worst retailer in the UK. Dare I say. It just feels so gross. And the staff always hate you.
it sticks to these core aspects. So why are these...
Because you know they've got the football kits. They've got football kits all the way up. It's horrible, Jackie, I never go. They've got football kits all on this wall, and there's some at the top. There's normally like Real Madrid and Barcelona at the top. I wanted a Real Madrid kit, and I go to the woman and say, "Could you get the Real Madrid kit for me?" And obviously I need to use the ladder. She goes, and goes and gets the ladder, and then probably goes as slow as fuck, and then pulls that shit off, and then goes, "Just so you know, I'm not putting that back. Put it on another peg. Someone else can do it." I was like, fuck, okay. Urban Outfitters makes squiggles and then sells it for like 70 quid.
Clothings and
But I like Urban Outfitters, so it's fine.
accessories used then? Because a lot of the features, like the balaclava and the gloves, are used within criminal activity. However, most of the people wearing these balaclavas and gloves these days do not commit any
Let's
form
try
of
and
criminal
speak.
activity, but want to look like they commit criminal activity.
Oh my god, Les France, I know that brand. I got a jumper, let me put one on.
Because that's fucking cool. And then you do have the wannabe roadmen from the upper class areas with the designer Stone Island, the real Canada Goose, designer Twatter Tire from head to toe, fam. You get me? The real roadmen who can't actually afford the real stuff unless they're high up in the crime food chain. So what do? They head to Antalya, pick up some garms from Bubba. Confidence is the biggest essential in this line of wanker, right? Delusion is perhaps more accurate. This birthed...
I'm gonna be honest though, like Spanish markets, especially for football shirts, are so fucking good. Like you're telling me I can get a Barcelona shirt that looks almost as good for like 10 euros. I'm doing that every day of the week.
Things like the roadman stare. Fuck me, it's both devastating alongside being a truly fascinating phenomenon. They'll look at you like you personally
friends
ruined
speak
their
only the
entire day
joggers.
despite never actually meeting
Hollister joggers are peak.
them before in your life. You could be carrying your Tesco meal deal, minding your own business, and suddenly some 17-year-old in a tech fleece is glaring at you like you've stolen his dad's job seeker's allowance. Nobody knows why they do it. I'm sure they don't even know at this point. I think it's fairly similar to a lion in
Just
the
a
savannah,
Hollister,
isn't
yeah.
it? Almost like a defense mechanism.
I'm wearing their
of
joggers
sorts.
right now.
Bus stops become their
comfy as
offices,
fuck.
park benches become the boardrooms, and the McDonald's becomes a 24-hour members club. Don't get me started on the Boss Man shop. We all know about it. They can stand in one spot for 6 hours straight without ever appearing bored. If you ask them what they're doing, they probably just simply reply, "You know, just chilling, fam," which is code for absolutely fuck all. Looking like a hardcore fucker is almost more important than actually being tough itself. Somebody looked at them for half a second.
At school, there used to be an ice cream van that would park all the way down, like a bit away from the school down this road. And they used to sell like bonbons and those Euro shopper food that was like, it'd be like 60p for a huge chocolate bar. Like there was definitely something in there that was probably got a million E numbers in because I don't know how the fuck it was that cheap. But I found out after I left school that you just had to say, I'm here for a Mr. Whippy times 2, and he'd just sell you drugs. Like, he just fucking pull drugs out the back. Honestly, I should have guessed though. He did have a leopard print seat. Yeah, no, it was funny though. But I don't think Not. I don't know anyone in my friend group who knew that. I just got told afterwards that that's why he doesn't do it anymore.
Too long? Well,
I
bloody
think
hell,
he's
the
dead
shank
now.
has been unsheathed from the
Don't know.
trackies. Somebody accidentally brushed past their shoulder. We've got what looks like sharks circling the victim, clothed in full attire, riding electric mountain bikes, discussing between each other whether disrespect has occurred. It's genuinely impressive how quickly absolutely nothing can become a full-blown
Look how
event. And
depressing
while we're
these
on the
backgrounds
topic,
are.
these bloody electric motorcycles, eh? What a great modern invention that was. They have become the official chariot of the modern roadman. Man ain't got time for no peddling, I lie. They're simply flying down pavements at 40 miles an hour wearing a balaclava and enough black clothing to absorb a ray gun. All to drop off a free fire.
I'm gonna be so fucking honest. If I ever have a cunt behind me doing wheelies, I'm fucking braking. I don't care. I don't care. He's going straight over the top of my car and I'm driving away. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I've a brick bud. Red lights have become optional at this point. You've got bastards doing wheelies through shopping centres. Pedestrians are now viewed as minor inconvenience rather than actual human beings. Unless they're obviously holding a phone, then they're seen as prey. Roadmen acting like bloody pigeons swooping down to steal a chip. Nobody has ever seen one inside unless they're filming themselves counting their nan's pension
It's
on
so obvious you
Snapchat
don't
with
live in
her
the city.
medication just spilled out on the living room table. And don't get me wrong, some of the imagery is definitely real. And
Edinburgh's safe for now. At least the main part of Edinburgh is. I bet you Wester Hales way. I guarantee there's roadmen.
has ties to actual gang.
I should do a vlog in Wester Hales because Wester Hales is freaky as hell. Wester Hales is like a really deprived area, and then they have an Odeon Lux in the middle of it that is like completely like it's lovely inside, and it's super duper expensive, and then nothing else. And then I think they have a shopping center with a Lidl in, and that's it. It's really strange. It's like backrooms, just a massive Odeon.
Life. But what in the fuck are they thinking when they post some of that shit? Money spread on the table, bit of ganj, some bottles of imported cough syrup. I reckon people will see that, you know, and just like feel fear. How have we got to the point in society where posting that utter shit is looked up to and seen as a cool lifestyle? And the people who have made it out of the road either got on to being like social.
Actually, genius plan. Because I look like a fucking Care Bear, I should just get a massive puffer jacket and wear my ski mask when I go to London, because then I'll just be associated with one of them, and then they won't bother me, because you know I'm one of the gang.
Media stars or celebrities or
I
musicians.
can throw up a
or just
convincing
any
wagwan.
well-paid job. You're still flexing on social media. Instead of flexing, you know, criminal activity, you're flexing poor financial decisions. So not really much
part of the
difference.
mandem,
is
exactly.
there? I remember
I could
back
rock
in the
that
day
shit.
posting pictures of me smoking spliffs, thinking I was hard as nails. But in reality, I was just a tosser. The only people looking up to that shit have very simple
I
and
love this
shit
guy's
lives.
channel.
Maybe that's ignorant for me to say, considering I didn't grow up shanking and shotting, but I genuinely believe that everyone has the opportunity to better their life, man. Walking as a collective bunch of cocks down a bloody high street. JD Sports.
This guy's a video about British holiday makers that looks hilarious and will probably be really funny. YouTube, if you want me to watch that, tell me in the comments.
Local council estates, just random street corners. It doesn't matter if it's raining bloody sideways or absolutely
Fuck is a
Baltic.
tosser?
They'll still be there
You're a
discussing
tosser,
the
joke,
inner
yeah.
mind of an uninspired mong. Or maybe about the fact that you can't get real Stardog anymore. You know, the strange collided in that, the cananoboids in that, yeah? And most importantly, Britain's best institution known simply as Bossman Shop. We've done a whole video on it, go check it out. Every roadman somehow has this diplomatic immunity inside their local premier. They walk in like bloody Keir Starmer entering a Fabian meeting. Boss man, let me get some blue ras crystal, fam. Some black rolls and a Maggie, please, boss. I lie. And then instead of leaving, they proceed to stand outside the shop for another 2 hours just shooting the shit with the mandem. Because our government fucking hates us and doesn't do community centres anymore or any sort of clubs, the corner shops became a headquarters for British youth. And of course, one thing that's impossible to separate from roadman culture is music, because without things like grime and following later UK drill, modern roadmen probably wouldn't exist in the form that we know today. Oh god, what would we do? Grime arrived first and gave a voice to young people growing.
I'm actually such a fucking snob. I was just thinking about this. I'm a massive snob. I keep saying that I find Asda grubby. At least the Asda near me feels really grubby. There's some corner shops that I quite like, but oh my god, no. There's some that are terrible. Like there's one near me that sells I don't even, it doesn't even say like where it's from. It's just fucking like like ready meal stuff. You couldn't pay me to put that on my body. Like I don't know. Yeah, I am such a fucking posh. It's probably made in the same
Up
factory
in
all the M&S shit is.
than
But
Britain. Then drill came along and cranked everything up for no fucking reason at all. I assume it's because of America's Chicago drill scene and how rapping about unaliving people suddenly became cool. For some artists in this scene, it was simply storytelling, a reflection of their surroundings.
my friend's brother is such a roadman to the point where he started wearing do-rags and spraying on his hairline, and all of his clothes are like thin, like nylon type shit. What do you mean spraying on his hairline? And is it convincing? Because I need that shit.
And experiences, and some of it's actually really good stuff. I do quite enjoy it. Said in the most posh twat way possible, I know. Nowadays, in like the last few years or so, it
not
hasn't been
convincing.
as
Fuck.
popular because most of the buggers are probably locked up or, gone on to do better things and are no longer part of that life, or they're dead. And the postcode rivalry itself is just fucking stupid. We've somehow convinced teenagers that living 6 streets away constitutes as a foreign nation. This isn't war, mate. You're just bored. I mean, if you've never drove from the outside of London into the centre, it does feel like you've travelled all 7 continents at this point.
The one thing about high streets is the more that they get run down, the more they attract. Roadmen are like bees, but they only not bees. They only move in once a high street is dying. You need to keep a high street nice, and then they don't move in. I've noticed it recently. Like there's a really shit part of a high street near me, and they'll all just hang out in that area. But God forbid they go to the nice bit.
But this is just mental. You can have 2 lads who both shop at the same Tesco and attend the same college, becoming lifelong enemies because one lives 20 minutes further down the road. Back in the day, you had medieval kings with more reasonable territorial disputes than most of these lot. Guys, we're not Americans. We're supposed to be the ones with more class. But our government's fucked us up, fam. Fair play, but we are literally just regressing day by day. And I'm not shitting on UK music at all. Like, the sound has just evolved and people have moved on, allowing for some seriously tapped in UK artists like JB and Jim Legacy, to name a few. Central C may not be as liked as he once was, but his legacy and global takeover cannot be ignored. However, what can be ignored is his clothing brand. You've got the raw turkey Twizzlers on the laces.
He's wearing fucking penne. What is that? No, it's not penne pasta. He's wearing the fucking pasta shape on his shoes. Oh my god, that's hideous. Doing them up would be such a fucking inconvenience. I bet they're like £200 as well.
You've spilled Angel Delight down
What the fuck?
your top and shorts. What in the fuck were you thinking, Neil? But an important distinction to make
His name's Neil.
is that not every roadman is
That's the
involved in
point.
gangs. In fact, most definitely are not. I'm sure the ones that are actually in gangs and in that life of crime probably get offended by being called a roadman. So I apologise if I've merged the two here, please don't hurt me. But some absolutely do become involved in the scene, which is why roadman culture has spent years being debated by politicians, police, and every bloke over the age of 50 who still prints out emails. While from a general public point of view, all we see is TikToks of them acting like proper bellends. And then comes what you've been waiting for, perhaps the greatest contribution roadmen have ever given Britain. It's time for a little language lesson, I think.
Oh my god, a smart board. God. If I buy a house, I'm never affording a house. If I get a flat, I will genuinely have a smart board in my background. Jokia, well, these are. Have you ever seen one of these things? These are the most beautiful machine to ever exist. I will put a smart board behind me, and we will explain concepts on the smart board.
Folks, fam used to mean friend, but now it's kind of like fallen off
God, I
and
fucking love
turned
the
into
smart board.
them. And then it birthed things like, them. I don't know, you're smoking
We can
a
do
bland.
maths
You could
lessons
look
on
over
the
to your
smart
mate
board.
and give it the old,
They never
them.
work, no,
It's
but
never
that's the
really
great
using
part
any
of them.
serious dialect. Nowadays you'd hear things like, hey, oh, that's my bro. Hey, that's my brethren. If he's really close to you, you'd be like, that's my killie.
Those Sports Direct mugs are the only good thing that shop sells. They're fucking huge.
Still, collectively, if you had all the lads around, you'd use something like mandem or the gaff. Not to be confused as a gaff referring to your house or crib, as they like to say. Groups of girls are the gyaldem. Groups of snot.
What? Also, am I wrong for finding it an ick if a woman says, I'm going to the gaff?
Children
know.
are utes. So, for example, you could say something like, yo, those pagans on that Yankee Island weren't a
Or function. I don't like function
fan
either.
of the gyaldem, you know. Waste man
I'm going to the function, bro.
preferred chirps in their utes
too American.
still. Anyway, so when you've got some random Donny saying that your gyaldem is Leng or Peng, you pull out the Rambo and start dipping him. I don't need to explain that.
Leng is really funny.
Do I? The ends refers to their local area. Instead of something being funny, it's
What the fuck is that image?
referred to as jokes. Motive essentially means an event that's happening later. You know, like the mandems pulled up in a German to take you out for a motive. As a fat white guy from Norwich, I personally think that I'm smashing this, you know. Someone's called your mum clapped and all you can fathom is allow it. So that essentially means that someone's called your mum a munter and you've simply said, oh, just leave it. Say
There's so much more to the fucking... I swear. Like, the language up here compared to the language in England is so different. Like, half of this I don't even understand.
If means okay, thanks, and goodbye simultaneously, because apparently one word now does the job of three. Kind of similar to how peak means both good and unfortunate, depending on the tone. Then you have emergency phrases like, man's moving mad bait, still. Come on, we got a cut, bro. Someone or something is acting suspicious. Perhaps we need to leave immediately, or just point it out and carry on anyway. Say less means understood. On road doesn't mean that he's walking down a dual carriageway.
On road?
It essentially means that he's about that life. He's on bootins. Man's moving mad. And then we have the greatest mystery of them all, the word man. Because nobody knows who man actually is. Man's hungry. Man's tired.
Are they not just talking about themselves like they're cavemen?
Man's just beat his meat still. Man could be you or the next man. Nobody knows. Yet we kind of do. Simple as that, really. Beginning of sentences start with, I can't lie.
I can't lie.
Mate, you're lying to yourself on a daily basis. And then you have people finishing every sentence with, you get me. Why do you need...
Oh, if someone says you get me after what they're talking about, that is like the biggest indicator to me that they're really fucking stupid. No, but it's like you don't... Because you're worried that a person doesn't understand what you mean because you're not explaining it well. Oh, it's like the same if someone says, you know what I mean. It's like if they explain something, you go, you get me, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's the Povo Elliot talking, but I would consider them pretty stupid because they can't articulate what they're trying to say without saying you get me.
Need reassurance
Do you know what I
after
mean?
every sentence,
Fuck!
lads. You've made it
I
clear
didn't
that
mean
your
that.
reassurance comes in the form of a bladed article. I guess it's fairly similar to people saying, like, you know what I mean? Just kind of keeps the convo flowing for no apparent reason. And to be honest, I find myself doing it too. And that's probably the funniest thing about roadman culture altogether. We stole the slang. In some ways, we stole the fashion.
Do you know what I
We indulged
mean?
in the music. Even
you know what I
people
mean,
who
babes?
clearly despise roadman culture accidentally say safe or say less without even realizing it, which is why roadmen have become one of Britain's strangest social phenomena.
I think LARP has entered my vocabulary.
I have a lot of friends who speak like a Hmong. They probably think that I speak like a Hmong, but truthfully, I fucking love them all, and I wouldn't change them for the world. Because at this point, roadman life is becoming less of a subculture. They are just truly British at this point. You know, the old heads are gonna fucking hate that, but I don't give a shit. And in another 15 years, we'll probably invent something else entirely, spend 10 years mocking it, and then quietly absorb it into mainstream society once again. This video took an awfully long time to make, so subscribe if you haven't already. We're
Hell
close
yeah,
to the
what an
big
awesome
100K.
video. Oh, what an awesome video. I don't know, I felt like he covered all bases there. I struggled to relate on that one, to be honest with you, because I'm a posh cunt. But YouTube, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have a great evening, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.